Hello. And we're back here with you again in Avalon Orchard on the side of Glastonbury Tor. I'm joined this time by my good friend Carolina.
Hello.
Who, as you, if you saw the last video for Now These, you will know that she was prevented from being here by a particularly nasty patch of Now These energy, which really stuffed things up, didn't it?
Yes, it was completely unpredictable and unexpected, so it was very irritating, but
but you're back,
and we're back.
And we're back with Isa. So Isa is the Germanic name. In Anglo-Saxon and Old Norse it's very similar. It's Is, and this runic half month started on the 28th of November and is going to run until the 12th of December. It actually peaks today, the 5th of December. I kind of forgot it was December then. December's crept up really quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it seems a bit strange. Yeah. But this time of year, it's not icy or frosty today, but really since this runic half month began, it has got really cold. We've had some really hard frosts, some really beautiful frosts. It's been a winter wonderland, but yeah, ice has really moved in. And as you know, we always like to relate the rune to the time of year and what's going on, and it clearly does relate very much. So, you know, it's a time where we see ice, we see frosts, and we just sort of see a general slowing down of the energy in the earth. And just walking up here today, everything felt very still, didn't it? That real kind of stillness that you get with this particular rune. So I think it's kind of interesting just to note first that the shape of the rune and the rune name really was was not changed at all between any of the different systems, and that really does kind of sum up the energy of this rune, the way that it preserves things how they are, and it maintains, and it doesn't evolve, it doesn't change. So we are in the final rune of this little patch of Rokkr runes that we've found ourselves in here, that are all related to the dark feminine energies and all related to the Norn. And this particular rune is related to the Norn Verdandi, and her name basically translates as becoming or about to happen or happening now. So we really are talking about being in the present moment. This rune can also be related to the various frost verses, the frost giants, and in particular Skadi. Now Skadi, as you may know, is probably the most famous of all the frost giantesses. She's a hunting, skiing giantess who has a sled pulled by wolves, and there again you see that connection between giantesses and wolves, and that basically links them with death and the goddess Hela. And perhaps she was the original inspiration for Hans Christian Andersen's Snow Queen. She has those kind of qualities. She's related to frost and snow. And we also see that this rune is connected with Niflheim, which it's the land of mist and fog and cold and just kind of nothingness, really. It's that kind of black hole, and it's from there that the river is called Elder. It flowed from Verbalising, which can be translated as bubbling cauldron, from Niflheim, where it met the sparks from Muspelheim and then created matter. So very much connected with the creation of the universe. And ice, in the northern tradition, you know, the medicine wheel, it's always placed in a northern position. So here we are, we're with a very cold, a very icy, northern kind of room that we're here. So if we look at ice, what is ice? Ice is the result of a change of state, so from flowing water into ice, and it comes as a result of a loss of energy. So the fluid water becomes resistant ice. So this is a rune that keeps things held in stasis. It preserves things how they are. It maintains what is. And that word is very interesting. The word is in the English language. Is is in Old Norse. So, and it's very much about what is, you know, being in that present moment. And of course that's its connection with the Norn Verdandi. So it suspends development and change. It's the counterforce to evolution. When Isa energy is present, you're not going to be evolving, you're not going to be moving on, you're going to be effectively held in a situation for as long as it takes for that situation to move on. So I like to see this rune as a necessary time of stillness. Sometimes it is just necessary just to be in that moment, to have that stillness and not to be pushing forwards and trying to change and evolve. Sometimes it's necessary just to be in that place, in that moment with yourself, and this is where this rune comes in. And I think it's interesting the way that if we look at the natural progression of the runes, we've had Hagalars, you know, chaotic forces coming in, creating change. We've had now these are both external disruptive forces which have come in. So I think that Isa in this position, it comes in just to bring that necessary stationary point where you have to stop and you have to go within yourself. And I think that kind of counters all of those chaotic kind of forces coming in from the previous two runes. So yeah, so the purpose of this rune is just to maintain, just to keep things how they are. So yes, this is a challenging rune. You know, all of these three Rokkr runes have their challenges. There's certainly nothing fluffy about this rune whatsoever. We are talking harsh, unyielding, cold ice. Now, on the way up here, as we walked up the lane up to the Tor, we were just having a chat, and I told Carolina how we've said before, you know, when you work with the runes, you will probably have things happen to you connected with those runes, like we had last time with now these. On the very day that Isa came into its power, my heating packed in. Yes, funny. It wasn't at the time because it was predicted to be the coldest night of the year. It's fixed now, luckily. And then a few days later, my washing machine has packed up. I shouldn't be laughing really because it's actually cost me quite a lot of money. But I was thinking about that. They're both systems that we have within the house, and they're both systems that rely upon the flow of water. And in both situations here, the flow of water has been stopped. And really, you know, that kind of is very much what this rune is about. You know, when water becomes ice, it slows down and it stops. And I've kind of been shown that through household appliances in this runic half month. Don't ask me why, but as I said, when you work with the runes, you know, we do tend to notice these kind of things happening, don't we?
Yeah.
So, and if we think about what ice does to us, now our ancestors had to deal with, you know, extreme conditions of ice, and there's no doubt about it. Take for example, you want to take a journey. If the conditions are clement, you've got no real issues. If it's iced up, then there's all sorts of issues that are going to try to prevent you from taking that journey. So it's a powerful natural force that we're looking at here that can stop all action. But the thing I was thinking is that the more prepared you are, the easier it is to negotiate. You know, you go out wearing flip-flops, you're going to fall over. You go out in snow boots, you've got a much better chance of staying on your feet. So if we also think about what ice can do, you know, when it ices up rivers, even the sea, pools, it creates for us a place where we wouldn't normally be able to access. But when this happens, it allows us to access places that we couldn't normally get to. And I think this kind of leads us nicely onto a different element of the rune Isa, where it's about the individual. And I'm just going to find the rune here in my pocket. Here we be. So here's the rune Isa, and you can see it's this, you know, it's the simplest of shapes. I mean, you know, this, you know, since man has been making shapes and patterns, I mean, this is an ancient symbol. It's the simplest form that we can get. But it's I, isn't it? It's I, it's the individual. So this rune is, you know, it's very much about the ego and about going in and taking that necessary time and stillness to examine yourself, to go within yourself, and to gather your resources, so that when the ice does thaw, you know, when that time is over, that you're able to then flow in the right direction. So yeah, this is a necessary time just to stop, just to look within, to sort out what you need to sort out, and then when the time is right, to flow in the right direction that you need to do. And through creating a deeper connection to the self, that creates stability and centeredness, and that kind of stability and centeredness, that is required in order for you to deal with the more chaotic external forces that we've just had, like Hagalars and now these. Just really want to... I'm going to take you back to the 90s now. Anybody who remembers the 90s, I just thought I'd just throw this phrase in because it kind of seemed right to me. There is a time to surf and a time to wax your board. You may or may not get this. I'm going right back to a comedy programme from '95 called Game On. But yeah, there is a time to surf, but there is also a time to wax your board. When Isa shows up, don't go surfing, wax your board. You know, this is what this rune is telling you to do. At some point things will get moving, but you know, if this rune shows up in a reading, you're probably looking at a period of time that's gonna hold you in stasis, and you're probably looking at about a season, about 3 months until things get moving again. So this rune can be employed very effectively in different types of rune magic. So I'm just going to go through a few of the things that you can use this rune for magically. So it can be used to keep things how they are. If you've got a situation that you can see is going to be disrupted, is going to be changed, then use Isa, because it will help to maintain, it will preserve, it, you know, it puts things on ice, it keeps things how they are. So it can also be used to hold things together. Think about the way ice engulfs things and holds them together. This rune can be used for that as well. It can be used to counter somebody else's attack. So you can use it preemptively as well. If you know somebody is going to attack you, then you can use Isa. It can act as a shield. And if you also think about what it's like to walk on ice, yeah, it's slippery, of course it is. This rune can be used to basically use the other person's energy against them in the way that the ice will make them fall over. If there's anger, if there's high emotions, Isa can be used to basically cool things down. We have our crow. And it can also be used to buy you more time, because it is very much connected with the whole slowing down of things. If you need to buy yourself more time, then Isa is a brilliant rune to invoke. And it's also great for invoking if you want to be able to focus and meditate. You know, Isa can definitely be used for that purpose as well. So this isn't, lots of people say this is a rune about stagnation. I don't feel it is really, because although the ice on the top may be frozen, there's still a lot of things going on underneath. I'm just going to quickly read you the rune poem. So this is the Anglo-Saxon rune poem. Ice is exceedingly cold, very slippery, glistens like glass, much like a jewel. Floor frost, fair wrought, a fine sight. So this poem very much you know, it has a positive slant on it. Yeah, ice is beautiful, but it's also deceptive. You have to beware. And the Old Norse rune poem, Is, they call the broad bridge, the blind man must be led. So again, talking about how it forms a bridge, how it can take you places, but how you have to be, you know, you have to take that risk. The risk is there, but if properly negotiated, it can take you to places you wouldn't normally be able to access. And before I stop talking, I just want to tell you about last year when Carolina and I went and hello Robin, when Carolina and I went and did Galdr on top of the Tor in the dark with the drum for Isa. I don't know what happened. It was quite powerful, but we both connected with what I described as like a big Ice Age cat. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And we actually heard it roar, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds weird, but this kind of thing does happen. Trust me.
It was a snow leopard or something.
I don't know what it was. I remember it was kind of sandy coloured, and I looked it up, and it was like an Ice Age type big cat. So, and that was when I really, you know, it just really told me what I knew, is that these runes, we're talking about ancient energies here. You know, these go right back. They're not some invention of a couple of thousand years ago. We're dealing with ancient energies here. These are these energies that are building blocks of the universe. But yeah, so I think that's me on Isa. I'll be quiet now and let Carolina talk.
No, please don't be quiet. Yeah, I think something that we wanted to mention as well about Isa, as we were walking up to the orchards.
Of course.
Shæryn was telling me about her home appliances, and then we see this road sign on the side of the road with the word ice and the symbol for a frost, for a snowflake. So we thought that's just amazing.
Yeah,
on our way to record a video about Isa, and there it is, you know, the symbol and the word written down. So yes, we took a picture.
We did. Too many, you know, synchronicities. They will show you. I feel that they will show you that you're on the right path. And of course, again, that just really connects this rune right bang with where we are on the wheel of the year, doesn't it? You know, it just really roots us where we know this rune is. But yes, that was we had a chuckle, didn't we?
Yeah, it's quite foggy as well today. Maybe you probably won't see it because we're like in the orchards at the moment. But if you see in the distance, it is quite foggy and quite misty.
It is. A bit like Niflheim.
Yeah. When you mentioned it, I thought, it is a bit like Niflheim.
Yeah. It's the mists of Avalon.
Yes,
the
that's
mists
what
of
it's
Avalon
called.
have
The mists of
descended.
Avalon. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right. So I'll tell you a little bit about the astrology of the moment. It's quite an important aspect that it's building up at the moment, and it's going to perfect or be exact at the end of December, current late December. So it will be around the 26th of December. So by that time, Boxing Day. So by that time, then the wheel will have moved a little bit more, and then we'll be in a different, runic.
We'll be in
half month. We'll be in Yera. Okay. So the importance of this aspect is that it's happening for most of December 2016. For the rest of December 2016 and for most of 2017. Okay. So this is Jupiter opposite Uranus. So Jupiter at the moment is in Libra, and Uranus is in Aries. So they're in opposite signs of the zodiac. So if I tell you a little bit about the planets and what they represent, then that might become a little bit more clear. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and traditionally it rules Pisces. So Pisces is a water sign, which links nicely with our rune today. So, you know, the liquid state of the rune becoming solid and into ice. Okay, so Jupiter is associated with learning, expansion, growth on all levels, and in the northern tradition it's associated with Thor. So Jupiter, Thor, Thursday, so all these associations. Then Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, and astrologically it's associated with change, radical ideas, breaking down traditional structures. And in the northern tradition, okay, what I have read is that in the northern tradition it's associated to one of the Norns. Bird, I read initially that it was associated with, but, and you know, I do respect of course the scholar opinion, but in my experience and from the connection that I could establish between the planets and the Norns, yes, I would say it is linked to one of the Norns, but I would say it is linked to Skuld, which is the future. Debt and future, what's happening in the future, which to me are much better associations between the planet and the deity. Also, I've read that Skuld appears in some poems as a Valkyrie, so it's that kind of warrior energy, and that really that individual striving for triumph and victory, which to me seems more linked to Uranus as well.
Well, I always think, you know, it's all very well doing research and reading and seeing what other people's associations are, but they've got to resonate with you. You've got to find what works for you, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. And it would be interesting to hear from any of you if you have any experience of any of this. You know, we'd welcome to hear your opinions as well.
Yeah, as long as they're nice.
Yeah. So when Jupiter is opposite Uranus, then we find that there is a need for personal freedom. There is a need for being an individual, but being different. So what's happening at the moment is that circumstances, situations are completely come to a grinding halt. Okay, things are stuck. They are very much solidified, which goes with the energy of ether. Okay, so at this moment, that need for personal freedom, that needs to come unstuck, that needs to get flowing again, gets heightened when these two planets are opposed. So anything and everything that threatens to stop our flow or our development then becomes an issue, which at the moment there is not much we can do. We just need to, as Shæryn said, stay within, stay in one, stay in your centre and wait for things to start moving again.
Which they will, because we've got Yera coming up next.
Yeah.
Which is, it's flowing, isn't it? It's cycles, natural cycles, natural flow.
Exactly. And also remember that Sagittarius is a mutable sign, which means that it's about flow, it's about change, and it's about flexibility as well. If something is stuck or solid, then with Sagittarius there is that possibility to change, to be flexible, to expand, which will become much more apparent when Yera peaks in the next 14 days or so.
And Yule.
Yes,
the winter solstice.
Winter solstice, when we've got really interesting dynamics going on that day anyway. But yes, you start to see change and things flowing again. So that's the very nature of ether as well. That it's the change from fluid to solid, and then back to solidly, as the seasons go on. So the expansive nature of Jupiter and the unpredictable nature of Uranus suggests that there can be an event that will prompt some shifts and some changes that we will not be able to to hold back. We have to go with change. We have to align with whatever is more appropriate to the stage that we are at in our lives. So the tendency is to start over again, to start afresh. But it's always difficult to incorporate changes and new circumstances into our everyday life. So it's up to us whether we are open enough to receive these changes, whether we are in a state of mind or in a position to accept those changes. But ultimately that will happen, and you will be in a much better place individually. So what you were talking about before, that Isa is very much about the ego, what the ego wants to do, and staying in your center, that will expand, that will become bigger, more abundant. So this aspect is all about spiritual growth and expansion, and it's also about achieving better relationships with people as well. Jupiter is in Libra, which is all about relationships and maintaining harmony, but also fairness, whereas Uranus in Aries is all about the individual being different, breaking from the mold. So this brings a lot of personal growth and abundance, which is to be had for most of December. And also I'm going to give you a couple of dates that this aspect will be peaking or be more heightened in the new year. So we've got the 2nd of March 2017, so we've got these two planets in a position again in a very tight opposition, and then again on the 28th of September 2017. So we've got 3 dates when this energy is present, is around, and that's when we can work with it, at its best, really. So it's, as I said, it's all about personal growth, adventure, travels, and growth, spiritual and personal.
Sounds good.
Sounds good for the last few weeks of the year, and also as a kind of something to look forward to, that we know that things don't stay in the same state forever. There is no stagnation. It's just a specific state at the moment that can be transformed, that can be expanded, and that we can become who we really are.
So positive changes then, because this year has been such a funny old year, hasn't it? We've had loads of great people die. We've had Brexit. We've had Trump elected. It's all looking pretty grim, isn't it?
It is.
So a bit of positivity coming.
So far it has been quite challenging, and lots of really historically deciding moments in time this year. But I mean, this aspect hopefully is a good sign, a positive sign for the coming year.
That's what we need.
And there's also we have, which I haven't mentioned as the main aspects for that I chose for today, but we have trines between the Sun and Uranus. We have sextiles. A trine is when the planets are in the same element, so they're flowing, or they're working in harmony. We have sextiles, which are aspects that allow us to manifest something, bring something into being, something tangible. So yes, it's all quite positive and really reassuring. Look. Oh!
My new dog has just come. Just going for his walk. Yeah. Oh, he's going to come down and say hello. Yeah, got a rescue doggy the other day. He's lovely. He's called Ben. And
hey, aren't you two the girls from YouTube?
yeah.
Thought I recognised you.
And hello Ben. Hello Ben. Come and make your appearance. Oh. Hang on a second.
Hello.
Ben. Oh. Say hello Ben. Where's Ben? There's Ben.
He's met lots of new dogs today.
Hello Ben, isn't he cute? And right, we better do our Galdr.
Well, I'll leave you to your Galdr then.
Okay. See you later Ben. Yeah, that was Ben.
Lovely Ben.
Lovely Ben. And strangely, he's coming back for a fuss. Strangely, I had a rune reading several months ago, and he said it was in the future aspect that I would meet somebody called Ben. And there he is.
There he is.
Bless him. Hopefully he'll join us for another one of our videos. Okay, well that was a unexpected interruption.
That was an unexpected,
very nice.
but welcome
Bless
visit.
him. Right then, we better get back to our Galdr. So, Isa. felt a real stillness and kind of a numbness almost. How did you get on?
It was a very gentle Galdr, wasn't it?
I felt,
Just felt like very
and slower.
slow.
I didn't.
yes,
I suddenly. I didn't mean to drum slower than normal. It just kind of happened.
And I
Just kind
found that we had a break in the middle as well, in between, because we do it in threes, as
Yeah.
you have probably noticed, 3 times 3. So, and there was a pause, kind of
was there?
yeah. In between, it felt
Yeah.
all natural.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, the numbness thing. Of course, ice. You know, if you hurt yourself, you can put an ice on it, can't you? Ice can also be used to kind of can also be kind of used to kind of numb pain and that type of thing. It did kind of feel quite numbing. And I was most disgusted with the local wildlife. When we were trying to be still, they were going mental, weren't they?
Yes,
Honestly,
yeah.
blackbirds. You just can't trust them, can you? Anyway.
And I don't know, how do you feel it has gone a little bit colder as well? It just feels that the wind feels a little bit nippier now than it did before.
Yeah, I think you're right. So if it snows tonight, it's probably our fault, so apologies. Anyway, I think that's all we've got for you for this time from the sides of Glastonbury Tor with the rune Isa. Thank you to everyone who subscribes. Thank you for joining us, and please join us next time when we will be working with the rune Yara around the winter solstice.
Yeah.
All right then.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.